Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to continue taking a look at my game against Tamas Banusz, played in 2012 at the European Championship. We have just left this position. My opponent just took on e4, f5, pawn takes on e4. Now it's my move, and I didn't take this pawn back. I played the queen to g3. And it was a question for me whether I would play the queen to g3 or to g2. And the reason is simply I didn't want to allow him to exchange my queens here. I didn't want to allow this. I mean, still I'm clearly better here, but I didn't want to go into this endgame. So I played the queen to g3. And now it turns out that black is already having huge problems on the g file. He cannot really protect the bishop in any good way. So, for example, queen d7 runs into bishop e6, queen e7 and knight d5, and I'm simply winning because black cannot protect this guy on g7 anymore with his queen. So he played queen e7. Another possible move was bishop f6, but now queen g6, and some very nice lines here can arise. Now I'm threatening mate, so queen d7. But now I can sacrifice my queen. This is all forced, and now knight d5 check. If king e6, then f5 check, king takes f5, and bishop takes h6. Beautiful. And there's nothing really black can do against this threat of knight e3 mate. I mean, he has moves he can play, but really in any way white is having a huge advantage. And if black is playing the king to f7, then knight b6 check, winning back the queen. And after queen e6, white doesn't even have to take. Now he can first take on c8, and he will win the queen in the next move, and you can see that white is up material and he's also winning. So some nice lines. So my opponent played queen e7, now knight d5. And now he played queen f7. If he plays the queen to d7, I can also continue with f5, and you can see all his pieces are stuck on the queen side. They're underdeveloped, they're not participating in protecting the black king, and this is actually the whole problem of black's position, that he's so underdeveloped and his own pieces cannot help him. So after queen f7, I also played f5. I could have also just won the exchange on a8. Nothing was wrong with that, but I don't know, I didn't like it too much. So if queen e7, now I actually don't take on a8 but on c8 with tempo attacking the black king, the black queen, and after queen f6 I can play bishop e6. I think I was not completely sure about these variations because I saw that my knight is kind of stuck on c8, but here everything is fine. The knight is not going to be lost. I can also support my bishop on e6 with f5, and I'm just winning here. And if he plays the queen to f6, then I take on a8, and after queen e7, now once again f5 is a very strong move, because for one, the pawn is restricting black's pieces, and for the other, black cannot take it, because then the f file would open, and this is pretty much the end of the black's king, and we will actually see this in the game. So I didn't do this. I played f5 right ahead, and now my opponent took this pawn. I couldn't believe it. He took this pawn. He was definitely too greedy in this game. He can't take this pawn. He can't open up the f file. It's just losing right away. He could have fought on with either bishop f6 or knight f6, what I kind of expected. So let's start with bishop f6. Knight takes f6, queen takes, and now bishop takes g8. Okay, so I've already won back the piece I had sacrificed, so that's good for me, obviously. And, well, clearly I'm also better here, clearly better, but it's not over yet because there's no way for me to really break through immediately. You can see this pawn on f5 is blocking the f-file, so I cannot attack the black king on the f-file. If knight f6, then I can simply castle here. And after knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, of course the black queen still has to protect the bishop on g7, so she can take on d5. Now queen f6, rook df1, knight c6 and bishop e6, and still black is holding on, but you can see it's very difficult for him once again to bring out his pieces. This bishop, well, cannot take on e6 obviously, because then once again the f-file would open up, and also the two rooks cannot come into play, so I believe black's also pretty much lost here. So let's see how the game continued. But after bishop takes f5, it's pretty much all over. I simply castle, and black is up a piece and a pawn, but this king, it's too much for black. Also, you can see all these pieces are underdeveloped, they're not developed yet, whereas my pieces are all developed and my king is safe, so it's no surprise that this position is completely lost here. So what is my idea at the moment? My idea is very simple, very straightforward. I simply play rook df1 and sacrifice on f5, and then everything is going to fall apart. And this is exactly what's going to happen in the game, because there's not much black can do. Actually, there's nothing he can do against these threats. So he played b5. Now I said, okay, you can attack my bishop. I just simply retreat to b3. Why not? Knight f6, and now rook df1. And there's no way for black to defend. So this bishop is hanging, and well, what can he do? If he goes to e6, then simply knight takes f6. Now bishop takes f6 runs into bishop takes e6 and queen g7. And you see everything is falling apart here. So it's just completely losing. But, well, everything is completely losing. And if after knight takes f6, black takes on b3, I have so many options here, I don't even know what to suggest, really. Maybe knight d7 even. And the idea is that after knight takes d7, well, now again, everything is just falling apart here. Well, maybe that wasn't even the smartest variation, because here white is only up a queen for a piece and rook, so I'm pretty sure there's something better here to play. Yeah, maybe knight h7. Well, there are a lot of possible winning variations here, I'm pretty sure. Knight h7, rook takes h7. It's also not too convincing here. A takes b3, but maybe. I was thinking now bishop f6, but can take this guy, and now once again the white pieces are intruding the black position and white is winning here. So maybe knight h7, but I'm pretty sure almost everything is winning for white. So let's have a look at what he did in the game. He played knight takes d5, but I simply take, queen takes, and now I collect the pieces on the king side. Check, check, and I'm already up in exchange, and my attack is going to continue. Actually, I'm not attacking the black king now, but I'm simply winning this guy on b8. Well, black doesn't really want to protect him with bishop queen b7. Obviously the bishop is hanging on f5, so he played bishop h3, but now just rook g1, queen takes a2, and I'm up a rook here. Black can give one more check on a1, but that's about it, and he resigned at this point. So that was, I mean, probably one of my most interesting attacking games, definitely. The first time I played the King's Gambit, and with a success I couldn't even imagine before the game. I just tried it out and my opponent just ran into this variation that I had prepared with the sacrifice of the knight. And then he never found in the game and I could completely crush him. So I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you liked my attack here in the King's Gambit. And if you have any comments, any questions about the game, then simply post them below and I will answer them. And I'll be happy if you subscribe to my channel. Alright, see you. Bye.